All right, everybody, it is the best time of the year. It is football season, and we are back with Season 2 of Inside the Huddle with head coach of the Sacred Heart University football team, Mark Nofri. I'm your host, Molly Jacob. Coach, we have a lot of good things to look forward to this season, starting off with our new setup overlooking Campus Field, where you guys will take on Lafayette this Saturday at 6 p.m. So exciting. It's going to be a great turnout. So tell us, what were the goals this past offseason that your team set, and how did you approach them in fall camp?
So we kind of regathered in January and talked about some of the things that we needed to get back to doing as a program, between the coaching staff and the players. The off season, we were going to make it as difficult as possible. It was challenging, between the weight room, conditioning, and spring practice, and kind of go back and find out what we're about and where our grit went. I think we kind of lost our way a little bit last year, and this off season was our focus of becoming more together as a team and building that team chemistry. And I told the kids, it doesn't start in August when the season starts. It starts in January, and it's a year-round commitment. So some of the things that we focused on were obviously making sure we have good team chemistry, building leadership with our upperclassmen, and getting back to play basics and playing good, sound, hard-nosed football. I mean, that's kind of what we've hung our hat on the last few years. And, I refer to those type of kids as grinders. And when we recruited this past year, the class that we brought in, we really liked, but we went back and said, we're going to take kids that maybe somebody doesn't want because they're an inch too short or a step too slow, but they're good football players and they like football. They love to play the game. And they fit our style. And I think our coaches did a great job this year finding the right mix of the student athlete that fits who we are and what we're about.
So going back to January, with all the work that you've put in with your coaching staff and everything, what makes this team look different than last year?
I think their togetherness, they did a great job this spring and so far this summer of caring about each other and taking care of each other. We practice hard, but we practice smart. They're doing things together on the field, off the field, which you'd like to see off the field stuff and some team bonding. Those are some of the things that's kind of stood out. And they care about football. They like football. And we talk about it, I joke around, when we recruit a kid, do you play football because you like it or do you love the game of football? Are you a football junkie? Do you like to watch film? Do you like to do extra work on the field after practice? Do you love the weight room? Those are things that play a part in, are you a great football player? Are you a good football player and you play because you're good at it? So we found out this year that we have a lot of guys that love football that are football junkies, and it showed in practice so far. And I'm anxious to see those guys Saturday night at 6 o'clock when it's time to cut them loose and how they perform and how they react.
So who's loving football on offense, defense, and special teams? Who are we highlighting, and why should we look forward to watching them this season?
Well, let's start offensively. I think we got two great quarterbacks in Cade Pavula and Rob McCoy, and they're both going to play. We have a stable running backs where we can go three deep. Malik Grant, Jalen Madison, and Xavier Lee. They all bring something different to the table, and they're very talented. Receivers corps, we have Kevin McGuire, LJ Haskett, Peyton Rhodes, and Abora. Abora played a little bit last year as a freshman, but the other guys are upperclassmen. So I like that development. And on the offensive line, we have some new guys. Mike Griggs played a lot for us last year and started, and he's doing a great job. Evan Scribner's our center. He's doing a great job for us so far this year. And our tackle, Steve Stella. Those guys played a lot last year, and our tight end, Phil Passmag, was, taking anywhere from 30 to 40 snaps for us last year. So he's had some experience there. And I like the way that, Coach Gardner's using everybody in his personnel. Defensively, I think one of the strong parts of our defense is our front four. You can look at, Carson Primrose, Nick Foglia, Tariq Brown. Those guys are good football players, and they've been playing a long time for us. And, they're upperclassmen now, and they've got a lot of experience. Our two linebackers, DeAndre Burrs is a 6-year all-conference. Ernest Howard is an all-conference senior. And then you go back and you look at our corner, Arsene Giles has been starting since his freshman year. He's been all conference, and Marcus Mason at safety. So, we got some guys returning that have a lot of experience, and those are some of the guys that I lean on or I look to. When the going gets tough, you want to rely on those upperclassmen, those seniors that have played and can make the play for you. And I got all the confidence in the world in those guys. And like I said, I'm anxious to see how they're going to play Saturday night at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, me too. It's going to be an amazing event. You guys heard it here, Campus Field, 6 p.m. this Saturday. Or if you can't catch the game, you can watch us on NEC Front Row for the best coverage in the NEC. Alongside Mark Nofri, I'm Molly Jacob. We'll see you next week.